Sandy Slew showed speed last start, dropped in class, but came up short at Saratoga. We'll see if a barn switch gets him back in the winner's circle this afternoon at Belmont. Oscar Performance has shown he could dominate the 3-year-old turf division. Now comes the next test. Stepping up to face older horses. We'll preview Saturday's loaded stakes action, including the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. And one of the many horses, or unsung heroes, I should say, behind the horses having success at the racetrack. Crucial to a thoroughbred success, the role of the Farrier. We'll explain that a little bit later on in the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We have the late pick 4 sequence coming up here as we get set for another week of racing here in Belmont, New York. Beautiful weather to kick off our week of racing. Glad to have you with us. And we're about 8 minutes away with the post parade coming up with the first leg. Greg Wolf, New York Racing Association handicapper. Andy Serling, former Met and LA Dodger. Paul LaDuca, good to see you guys back for another week of action. And this pick 4, difficult sequence.
Everything is difficult around here. You look at the prices of the last couple of winners here. We're probably headed to a carryover of 115,000. We'll see if some logical horses finally start winning some races, Paul.
Yeah, you make a good point. For us, the people that just joined us, we had to pick 5 of the first 5 races. If you were able to pick those winners, Wolfie, you got close to $80,000. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier for us.
You didn't have it, did you?
Races.
I did not.
Hopefully we can give you a little advice to help you out.
I did play. I went all but, I believe, the horse who was favored throughout most of the wagering in the first leg.
I had 2 of 5.
Okay. I had 2 as well. Okay. Track conditions for today. Track is fast. Turf course is firm and beautiful weather. Partly cloudy, 81 degrees. Great day to play the races. Here's what we have for you. This 6th race kicks off the pick 4. 1.25 miles on the inner turf. Chad Brown with a couple of horses in the race, including the 6-5 favorite. 7th is 1 mile on the turf, 6 furlongs on the inner in the 8th, and we'll close things out at 1 mile and 1/16 for New York bred maidens at 1 mile and 1/16 on the grass. Get signed up, started, play along as you watch, and build up that account. Bet 100, and you'll get 100 in your account just by playing. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. You can get signed up and started all across the country with NTRA Bets. Go to NTRABets.com, again, to take advantage of that offer. Promo code is live. Here is our post parade. We start off with Homeland Security, 1 of 2 for Chad Brown. Actually beat Dovecote earlier in his career.
Yeah, the other Chad Brown horse, one of 2, but she's a big overlay at 9-1 right now. A lightly raced horse who did break her maiden, going 1.25 miles off a long layoff.
At 10-1, here's Violet Blue for Jimmy Toner with Manny Franco.
That's one good race on her resume, but she needs to repeat that or get a little bit better to maybe jump up and beat these. 3
is Scratch the 4, Scattered Thoughts, Blinkers On for Alan Goldberg.
I thought the interesting long shot in here because maybe she could be the pace of the race with an aggressive Paco Lopez.
And the favorite for Chad Brown at 6-5, Dovecote, Javier Castellano aboard. We'll see here in just a moment. There she is.
A very good trip when she was second in her last start, but she still ran well, and she's run well in all of her 4 starts. And to be fair, when she lost Homeland Security, she had a tough trip.
Church Social, Joel Rosario for Shug McGahee, 1 for 10 in her career.
She's really tough to figure out whether she's been unlucky or not. You know, she has 3 seconds here from 4 starts at Belmont, so some good races here. That's why she's getting bet.
Quant, couple of near misses for Christophe Clement the last 2 tries. John Velasquez rides.
She hasn't run since February, which won't help her against this field going 1.25 miles, but she has the speed to put herself in good position.
And Seafire for Roy Lerman, Jose Lezcano aboard.
I tried Lasix last time, and 1 mile and 3/16 didn't help, so this filly by Lonro really needs to improve.
162,000 plus in that pick 4 pool and growing. How are you guys going to play this, Andy?
I'm going to try to sort of get myself to the last race here, and in this race, I'm going to use the 1, 5, and 6, the 2 Chad Brown runners, and the 6 Church Social. 1, 3, 9 the next race. The 3 is the worst to beat, but I think he's a bit vulnerable, the heavy favorite in that race, Slim Shady. 7, 9 in the 8th race. 2 horses that are dropping, and I'll spread in the last 1, 2, 6, 8, and 9.
Yeah, you know, I love when we have totally different opinions because this is great, right?
We can both lose in different ways.
Exactly. So I like Slim Shady. I'm gonna play the number in race number 7. I think that horse is gonna be tough to get around. I'm just gonna try to all.
I agreed. I thought that was the all race.
But here's the thing. I almost singled Banana Thief, and the only reason why I didn't is that Steve Asmussen is 1 for 17. His last horses from Saratoga coming to Belmont. So I'm a little shaky on Banana Thief, but I do like that Andy has him on his pick 4. The last race is going to be interesting, whether a lot of people are going to do with Catch a Cab, who was giant last time out, the 9 in the last.
All right, we're getting close. 3 minutes to post here in this pick 4. Let's check in now with Gabby Gaudet.
Thanks, Greg. Well, for starters here, we do have a very competitive allowance race on the turf, and no doubt about it, Chad Brown's the worthy favorite, both on paper and physically, guys. She's just going to have to hope that that pace does pretty much develop in front of her because of the scratch of the 3. The pace could be a little bit slower than what we initially thought, but she's going to be the horse to beat. We'll check in with a couple. One of them, the 7 Quant, who is coming in off of a substantial layoff for Christophe Clement. And last time I saw her, which was in the winter at Gulfstream Park back in December and February, she was very fit. There wasn't much size to her, but since then it actually looks like she's filled out a little bit. Whether or not she can tackle this distance of 1.25 miles against pretty solid fillies in here is to be determined. I do prefer others, but it's good to see her kind of taking that step forward. And we'll check in with the 4 Scattered Thoughts as well for trainer Alan Goldberg. The blinkers do go on this 3-year-old filly, and I caught up with assistant trainer Jorge Duarte, who travels for the Alan Goldberg barn, and he said they put the blinkers on her today because they've always thought that she focuses more, or at least has more success when she's more forwardly paced. So the strategy today is to go to the lead under Paco Lopez and hope for the best here. But Maggie, I saw when the 4 Scattered Thoughts kind of came onto the track, she was hugging the outside rail. How'd she warm up?
And Gabby, in regards to Scattered Thoughts, she was one of the ones that was taken away from the pony. As you said, she didn't really want to go with her. Now, look, Paco Lopez is not a guy who likes to give his horses aggressive warm-ups. I would have liked to see her get a little more of an aggressive one, but she's warmed up fine, given the fact that she will likely be forwardly placed in here. Going back to her last race at Monmouth, I thought she was a filly who would appreciate getting a little more ground under her feet. She gets it here today. We'll see. Look, physically, she wouldn't be my top choice, but the one that would be my top choice is number 6, Church Social. Now, Joel Rosario is back aboard here again today. He gave her a very nice warm-up. I love what I saw from her, maybe saying and suggesting to her, hey, don't get too far out of this as you have in the past. So I like what I'm seeing from Church Social. Another horse Gabby touched on is Quant. Now, I kind of disagree with Gabby in that I think she looks a lot the same. She's always been a heavier bone type of filly to me, and never has looked that fit. But granted, Gabby had seen her in her last start prior to this one, whereas I've seen her in her New York starts. Look, I think she'll probably need one under her belt, but, you know, she is coming back off a hind suspensory injury, and hopefully Christophe said that he would have her ready, but she still just might need a start. And, guys, we did see number 1 in here. That is Homeland Security, getting a little bit of an adjustment going up to the gate a bit early. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. Maggie Wolfendale going to be on Pony for us throughout the show this afternoon and I believe all week. So we look forward to her insight through all these races coming up. And there is Homeland Security, and that price coming down a little bit, but that's still a big number.
I got to tell you, while I think the favorite's the horse to beat, the 5, I agree from a betting perspective, Paul, the 1 is the horse to bet. There should not be this discrepancy between the 1 and 5 in odds.
Well, you're right, because the 1's already beaten the 5. I think the 1's an overachiever. This is a filly that has not been bet at the windows, but she's been run okay in the afternoon.
It's only her 4th start. Now, to be fair, when they met, Dovecote did not get a good trip that day.
Yeah,
and she probably should have won. But also, to be fair, that was Dovecote's 2nd start. She had run a month before. And Homeland Security hadn't run in 9 months. And she still beat her no matter how you want to look at it. I mean, even if she lost to her by a length and a half, wouldn't you say with some experience she could close the gap?
100%.
That's where the value lies on the board. The pick 4 starts here. Dovecote, the favorite for Chad Brown. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call. To kick things off here, Larry Colmus.
They're all in line, ready for a start. They're off. Quant is going out to lead them early. Scattered Thoughts on the inside. Farther out, Seafire goes up. Dovecote and stablemate Homeland Security are together 4th and 5th, moving for that first turn. At the back of the field, Violet Blue and Church Social. So into the turn they go. Seafire's going to go on with it. Seafire from that far outside post clears, opens up the lead by a length and a half. Scattered Thoughts second early on here as they complete a quarter in 24.47 seconds. Quant is third. Dovecote under stout restraint fourth, heading to the backstretch, 5.5 lengths off the lead and beginning to run on, and Dovecote is making a move right now. Dovecote and Javier Castellano are going up on the outside to take the lead here. A sudden move by Dovecote outside of Seafire, and now they're right together. Break of 2.5 back to Scattered Thoughts. Quant on the outside. Homeland Security's unhurried at this stage. 8 lengths off the lead and inside of Church Social, while the trailer is Violet Blue. The half was 50.23. So it is now Dovecote who made that early run on the outside with a neck in front of Seafire up the backstretch. Quant and Scattered Thoughts are a length and 3/4 behind. Church Social is paired up with Homeland Security. They're 4.5 lengths off the lead and leading Violet Blue after 3/4 in 1:14.09. Around the far turn, Seafire on the inside, head and head with Dovecote. The two of them race together. Church Social is moving now and moving wide on the far outside, blitzing up toward these front runners. After that, it's Quant. Saving ground is Scattered Thoughts. Homeland Security is going to take the overland route. And then it's Violet Blue, and they're into the stretch. Church Social, Dovecote, Seafire, Homeland Security on the outside. The four of them come into the final furlong. Here's Homeland Security and Church Social. These two kick on. Violet Blue closes in. The others have given way. Homeland Security's in front. Rod Ortiz and Homeland Security are going to win it here and win it by 2. As Violet Blue got second, Church Social was third, Seafire was fourth in 2:01.56.
Very interesting run race. A lot going on in here in the end. It's the other Chad Brown runner, Homeland Security. Benefits comes from off the pace to win.
Well, Paul made an interesting point. Maybe something happened with the 5. I don't know if you can see the head on the backstretch, but Dovecote made that crazy premature move, albeit into a very slow pace, but ended up collapsing the race, and the beneficiary of it was the one Homeland Security.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Homeland Security just sort of swooped off cover. You could see Jose Lescano on Seafire, the pace setter, Greg. He took a peek to his right, like, what's Javier doing here with the 5? And I was wondering, too, because this is not a Javier Castellano type of move.
No, it is. Listen, they were going slowly, and he wanted to get in the race, but it didn't work for Abel Tasman. It seemed like he was trying there.
It reminded me a lot of Mike Smith on Abel Tasman in the Coaching Club of American Oaks.
The horse is inside, right? And then maybe she didn't want to be. As soon as he got her outside, zoom, she took off on him.
It's not like he's asking her, right? I mean, he's actually holding on to her, and she just runs off there. You made a point, which I agree with. We'd like to see how wide she was. Was she out in the 5 path? But as it played out, here's a weird one. Church Social moved too soon.
I know, right?
That's never happened before. And here's the head-on. She's not really that wide, Paul.
No, she really isn't. I was wondering if something had broke or something.
Now it's a little wide, but not...
Not really. I mean, she just might have ran off a tiny bit on Javier, but she had nothing in the tank, obviously, late. But it was just a weird move in a 1.25 mile race, you know?
And it's the strength of the Chad Brown barn that he had another horse in the race that took advantage of it. But, you know, we talked about it beforehand, Paul, and you liked the one. It was a great pick by you at 6-1. You've got to be willing to adapt to the board. I picked the race 5-1-6, but at 6-1, this was the right horse to bet.
100% the right horse to bet.
Yeah, if you let the board help you sometimes and be your friend, it can be. 6-1 was way too big a price on Homeland Security. Let's head to Maggie Wolfendale standing by with Irad Ortiz Jr.
Riding by, actually, Greg, is Homeland Security here. Irad, you were the patient one in this race. There was a lot going on out there. What were you thinking kind of when Dovecote rushed up down the backside?
They're going too slow, so I think Javier was fighting a little bit with her, and he just let him be comfortable. He don't move like a crazy move. He just let him be comfortable, but they was going a little slow. I just tried to follow them. Then Rosario made his move, and I just followed Church Social. She's a nice filly, so I just have a good follow, and then I tip him out, and she responds really good.
Helps when you know the other horse you're in against. Obviously, you've ridden Church Social as well, but you've ridden this filly very well, and she seems to be a 1.25 mile type specialist. She just relishes the distance, I read.
Yeah, she loves Belmont, too. You can see her performance when she runs at Belmont. She runs really good. I think she likes 1.25 miles. All
right, congratulations here.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Maggie, thanks. So multiple wins this afternoon for Irad Ortiz Jr. 6-1. on Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables, and Irad Ortiz Jr. You don't see that very often. We're going to take a break. We will be back. Mr. Crow has been dominant so far, and he's going to step up at a stakes competition. We'll preview that contest when we come back.
The world's #1 sire of 2-year-olds, Warfront, continues to command top prices with yearlings this year, bringing up to $1.9 million. On the track, Warfront has sired recent Grade 1 winner Avenge, Grade 1 victors Brave Anna, and graded stakes winning juveniles in France, England, and Ireland, Roly Poly, War Decree, and Intelligence Cross. A leading sire on all fronts, from Paris, Kentucky to Paris, France, Claiborne Farms, Warfront.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code LIVE to get a $100 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live. In what kind of world do you get 6-1 on Chad Brown at Belmont Park at a turf race in a world where he has another horse in the race who's the favorite?
Yeah, it seemed like they just were focusing on the 5 Dovecote and ignoring this horse, and it happened the last time they met up, actually. And in both situations, it's fair to say, though, this horse was a bit fortunate and Dovecote not.
It's a good pedigree here. Smart strike out of the Giants, Causeway Mare Forever, beautiful, and congratulations. The connections as well. And a good ride by Irad. $14.20. Look at that pick 3.
Unreal. $7,070. That's the kind of day it has been. Prices continue. Let's send it downstairs to assistant trainer Cherie DeVoe, who's with Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. Yes, you're right. It's not often that we see a nice price winner on the turf in an allowance race for trainer Chad Brown. But Cherie, talk a little bit about this performance today. We saw a fantastic performance kind of closing from off the pace for Homeland Security.
Yes, Homeland Security seems to have an affinity for the turf course here at Belmont. She's always trained well and put it together today for a good run.
And what about Dovecote? You guys also sent out kind of an awkward middle move on the backstretch. Did you get a chance to speak to Javier after the race?
Javier said she was just a little headstrong, and the slow pace it really didn't help the situation.
Yeah, when they're going that slowly in front, sometimes you have to make a move. But Cherie, you guys also sent out a first-time starter in the last trophy asset. What could you tell us about that horse and maybe expectations for the first start today?
He's been training really well and forwardly since he's come to us. He's been training at Monmouth, and they do a really good job down there with their horses, and he's come here breezed and put in a really good breeze here.
All right, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to it, and congratulations on this one, Cherie.
Thank you very much.
All right, Greg.
Gabby, thank you. Of course, Cherie DeVoe does such an excellent job, part of that tremendous staff of Chad Brown's.
There's no successful trainer that doesn't have very, very good help.
No, you make a good point. You could just go up and down. Dwayne Lucas, all the success he had, and then the tree and the tree and the tree. Pletcher's starting to have his tree. Some good trainers, and she does an unbelievable job.
Do you know we were going to show a tree on cue? That was tremendous. Time for what's trending now in the game. And how about this little spending tree, or I guess saving tree? Yeah, congrats to NTRA for leading the way for a positive change for the horse player. They also saved some trees. No more multiple tickets, and tremendous news for horse players.
It absolutely is. And it's something that Steve Chris has been writing about for 20 years, to be honest. And the NTRA deserves an enormous amount of credit for doing something that's fair. it's not as though horse players are getting some sort of great bargain. The idea that you have any ticket in a multi-race bet in a world that's become so focused on multi-race bets or superfectas and trifectas, and it pays 300 to 1 and you should have to sign for it or even have withholding is ridiculous because nobody is hitting these for $1. In other words, you bet $100 to collect $1,000 and they're acting as though, well, you just had the one ticket. No, you're getting about 8 to 1, 9 to 1 on your money, and it's just a rule that's very fair for the horse player, and that's what's important, fair.
Yeah, and the thing is, it promotes churn, which means it promotes more money back to the racetrack and more people be able to spend their money. Listen, I've always been a person that said if you give people stuff for free when they come in, or like say a racing program or something like that, they're going to bet it. Now these are going to get more money and there's going to be more churn at the racetrack.
But more importantly, look at the pick six. You've pitched big sixes as I have. You've hit a pick six for, let's say, $50,000. You didn't hit it on a $2 ticket. You probably hit it on a $2,000 play. So what you did was get 24 to 1, and that's great. But you shouldn't get taxed on that. If you bet $2,000 to win on a $50 horse, you collect the $50,000. Why should it be different in a pick six where you put $2,000 in to make the bet?
They used to tax you on the $2. Now it's the amount you actually played the ticket for. The rules go into effect no later than November 14th. Most meaningful regulatory advances the sport has seen in decades, and everybody wins. More handle, actually additional tax revenue for the government as well because more money goes into the pool, so it's a win-win for everybody involved.
So it's a giant win for the racetrack. It's a giant win for the racetrack. The horse player
the whole industry
benefits.
Racetrack
next because more money's going into the pools back in.
And the next time somebody says, what does the NTRA do for you? This is what the NTRA did for horse players, and they couldn't have done anything more helpful, and we all owe them a debt of gratitude.
Absolutely. Well, there's been a big face missing here in horse racing. That is Jose Ortiz. Can't wait to be back. We can't wait to see him back as well. Of course, he got injured with that sore knee and a spill last week. He will return tomorrow. And he's got some big mounts coming up this weekend, so good to see him back.
Yeah, you'd hate to have seen him miss a significant... You hate to see any rider get injured and miss a significant amount of time. Doesn't matter who they are.
No, that's okay. He's coming back because look at the hat he has on. He has a Met hat on backwards.
Well, he's going to be a busy man Saturday when he has Oscar Performance tackling older horses for the very first time in his career.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. It's going to be tough for him. But, I respect that Brian Lynch is taking his chance. He's saying, I want to see if he belongs in a race like the Breeders' Cup Turf. And if he doesn't, he'll adjust from there. And I respect connections that take chances.
No, I'm with you. And here's the other thing. 3-year-olds have done well at Breeders' Cup when they take on the older horses because I think they're starting to grow now at that time of the year and to get a little bit better. As you see a late now who went in the Alabama, changes up a little bit with everything now with Abel Tabo losing to It's as well who a late just went right by last time.
I'm going to tell you, there are going to be some trainers that ran their horse in the $1 million cotillion. They're going to take a look at this Beldame, a $400,000 Grade 1, and say, you know what? Maybe I should have been running the Beldame. And congratulations to Belmont and Claiborne Farm for thinking outside the box and finding themselves in the right spot.
Both those mounts for Jose Ortiz, you were saying?
She could be, if she crushes again, she's got a shot to be the favorite in the Breeders'
Cup. Talk more about both those races coming up. Next on Belmont Park Live, Dirt, Turf, Delaware, Belmont. It has not mattered for Speedster Abiding Star. His last 2 starts, 2 wins. Goes for a 3rd straight coming up. Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before. Park Live, getting set for race 7. And we all know about the devastation that has hit not only in the U.S., but of course Puerto Rico as well. Hurricane Maria, the most recent to do so. Millions of Puerto Ricans without power, water, or enough fuel. About 97% of the island's 3.4 million residents are still in the dark. This is just 1 week after Hurricane Maria. Half of the residents do not have running water, and there's nowhere near enough food to go around. Of course, equines need your help as well. You can go to foundation.aaep.org/Harvey or Caribbean Thoroughbred Aftercare on Facebook to help out the many thoroughbreds that are faced with dire situations as well. But everyone needs your help, and still a lot of work to be done there in Puerto Rico.
Absolutely. If you can't help in these kind of times, you can't help anytime.
Yeah, and a great tweet. The TRF will donate 50% of the Hay Drive donation that we receive between now and Sunday to our friends at the Caribbean OTTB. You know, I said this before, Wolfie. You know, we go 6 minutes or without our phone, we go crazy. We're going to go 6 months without power. Now the horses at Camarillo Racetrack need a little bit of help with their food and water as well. So anything you can do, even if it's dollars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, don't forget, you can text immediately to help out. You can, with the Red Cross, 90999. Harvey, Maria, Irma, whatever it is, and those donations go immediately to help out. So every little bit helps. We're going to get back to racing here coming up. We're about 13 minutes away from race 7, and something about the old man here. He has woken up and he has found some of his old games. Slim Shady, the 9-year-old. Right now he's 7-2 on the board. He's won back-to-back starts, going for 3 in a row. How long has he been around? Well, way back in 2010, he was running against a horse by the name of Frankel. You remember him? Finished his career perfect 14 for 14. This was in the Royal Lodge at Ascot.
One of 2 times that he met him.
The way by 3 parts to Slim Shady, the inside. 2 away, then in third up on the outer is Clamour. Tucked away on the inner Treasure Beach, and a length and a half last is Frankel. Still 5-6 lengths off the paces all the time they're climbing towards home now. And on the outside, it's Eskimo, just increasing the tempo slightly by about a neck. On the inside, Slim
we all know how this one ended. And then, of course, yeah, as you mentioned, Andy, he would face him again next time out, and then he had enough of Frankel.
Treasure Beach was in that race,
like,
too.
yeah, and also
That was
Treasure Beach,
quite a field.
Who was sort of taking we've seen a couple of Treasure Beaches win at first asking.
Win the Secretariat Treasure Beach?
I want to say he did. He was a good racehorse too. So not an also ran there. And Slim Shady came over to California originally, Greg, into the Simon Callahan barn, and then he's been a little bit everywhere. But you're right. At age 9, he's won 2 in a row. It's crazy.
And I got to say, we've seen some big upsets today. I'm going to say the biggest upset of the entire day is that he is the 3rd choice in the doubles. Now, I'm going to try to beat him with a 9, but he looked like he was going to be 4-5 on paper.
Yeah, he does on paper. He's won 2 in a row. I know that he's 9, but Jason does a great job with these type of horses. I'm a little bit surprised he's not the favorite in here.
Well, we'll get more on Slim Shady right now with our paddock report. We'll check in with Gabby Gaudet. It's brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And I really do think that this horse is the horse to beat. Of course, Slim Shady coming off back-to-back victories here. But I think it goes without saying that he did get ideal setups in the last 2. And will he get an ideal setup once again today? Overall, it kind of looks like Abiding Star is going to be the main speed from the rail, and Slim Shady's going to have to overcome that fact. But physically, he looks great. But he is also 0 for 15 at this distance, and he's also 0 for 10 at Belmont. So if you're taking a short price, which you're not getting right now, maybe pursue others in here. And the 2 Abiding Star, this is a horse who definitely makes sense that Ned Allard tried the turf with him because he does have that turfy look to him. But I do wonder about distance and how far he can actually go. So he only gets a little bit of distance to the 1-turn mile from 7/8 last time out. And you can see kind of the equipment that he has. He has a run-out blinker that's been on him for several of his last starts, talking to Ned Allard. So that's nothing new. And the strategy is going to be to go from the rail and hope to see him carry his speed a little bit farther as well. But guys, the horse that's most intriguing to me is the 9 Shalako. And I liked him a little bit last time out. I like him even more today. First off, the claim for trainer Linda Rice. This is a horse who has a tremendous amount of back form, and maybe Linda can kind of revitalize that form here today.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Shalako was actually 5-1 morning line, 9-5 right now. But back to the old 9-year-old here, Slim Shady. And what do you guys think? I mean, it is surprising he's this price right now.
I think it's ridiculous that he's this price. I think he's vulnerable because he had 2 perfect trips to win in Saratoga and things really went his own way, but I don't care. He still ran fast enough to beat these horses, and he's supposed to be favored, to me, at least on paper, Paul.
Yeah, he is. And maybe because of shortened of the field, he's... Another horse are taking money and they don't think he's going to have the pace to run into. But he ran down this field pretty nicely in Saratoga. He's never been the type that loves to beat you by a bunch. He's going to beat you by a neck, by a head. He's going to be right there. Listen, he's got over $1 million in the bank, so there's class there. It looks like he's finishing just fine. Good point, though, by Gabby. 0 for 10 at Belmont. That could be his Achilles heel.
The fact, too, that he's getting less ground, he is 0 for 15 at a mile as well.
He also was 0 for 5 years on the turf until he won 2 races at Saratoga. So none of those stats are particularly surprising. He won the Grade 2 San Marcos at Santa Anita. So, yeah, he never won a race in New York, and suddenly he won 2 straight. I'm not going to bet a horse like that, but I am shocked that he's not favored in
that
here.
San Marcos was in 1994 that he won, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 5 years earlier. I mean, it was February of 2013, I believe. So this horse was a long time between drinks on the turf. So I understand all those stats. I still don't think he should. I picked the 9, but I don't think this horse is supposed to be an underdog. I think he's a favorite.
Now, meanwhile, Shalako, Linda Rice, Jose Lizcano. It's first off the claim for Linda Rice. 5-1 morning line, 2-1 favorite. Was, 9-5 right now.
Linda has great numbers off the claim with turf routers, and he is a horse, if you get past his last race, has very fast races to go.
She's about 21% on that move, and she's coming off that monster meet at Saratoga.
She's 12 for 47 over 5 years.
Yeah.
Here's the remaining half of the entry for Greater Glory. Will break second to the outside. First off the claim for David Jacobson.
This is a very interesting horse for a hot trainer who has go-back turf races that make him a major contender and had no chance last time.
The rail goes to Abiding Star, Joe Bravo, who's already won today for Ed Allard.
This horse is sort of an all-or-nothing horse, right? 7 for 16 the last 2 years. All of those wins, 2 of the wins here at Belmont, going to try to take him gate to wire.
Slim Shady trying to win 3 in a row. The 9-year-old son of Val Royal for Jason Service.
I thought he was a decent bet against at 4-5, but he's a bet on it. His current price and third choice in the doubles. His last 2 races, good trips, but good races.
Super fast, Angel Arroyo, 6-year-old son of Broken Val, 4-time winner.
Hot at the claim box. Does have a win here at Belmont. Robert Tross looking for his first winner. 0 for 15 so far.
King of New York blinkers go on for Abigail Adsit. Joel Rosario rides.
He's just recent form just leaves him wanting in here. He'd be an upsetter.
And Shalako, 2-1 favorite on the outside. Jose Lizcano for Linda Rice.
His last race, he was compromised by the pace. His prior turf races are good enough.
That's your 2-1 favorite. May I have your attention, please? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. Paula Duke has given me weird eyes right now. The 9-year-old found the fountain of youth, tries to win his 3rd in a row. Next.
Shadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, presents 2 young stars. Mo Heyman, undefeated 2-year-old, multiple graded stakes winner at 2 and 3. A dazzling son of Tappet, winner of his first 5 career starts, 4 in graded stakes. Grade 1 winner, Tamarcuz, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This son of Speightstown was a top international miler that earned over $1.8 million. Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Back on Belmont Park Live, getting set for race 7 coming up. I want to remind everybody to accumulate those rewards points. They add up with NYRA bets even faster on Wednesdays with 10 times the points on all bets at Gulfstream and Woodbine Thoroughbred Racing. Your points can be redeemed online anytime for wagering credits that immediately fund your account. Go to NYRABets.com for more details on all the daily promotions and how you can start earning more wagering rewards points. Well, there is in the background Shalako, but look, there he is. Still our favorite at 2-1.
Listen, I picked him. Linda's good in these situations. He's got back races before the Saratoga race, a race where it was one wire to wire, where he had no chance from an outside post. I think there's intangibles to like and tangibles to like. I think 2-1's a terrible price in this horse. I will say with the rails out 27 feet on the Widener turf course, in the past, when the rails have been out this far, it has helped outside closers, which I believe fits Shalako.
Meanwhile, will Speed abide Jersey Joe on Abiding Star?
Yeah, you know, the 2's an interesting horse. Like I said, all or nothing type of gelding here by Uncle Mo. And if you look at his 8 wins, 6 of them is when he's at the lead at the top of the lane. And he has to be not bothered. And when he's not bothered, he's able to sort of go on with it. Now, he was struggling a little bit with the turns on this day. You can see he was lugging out a tiny bit. He looks like he's dead beat, but then he straightens out and he goes. Now, I don't know, after watching this replay, how he's going to be able to go a little bit farther. He's game, I get it, but he did not look like the winner at the top of the lane. So I think it was maybe more of the rest of the field. I think this is a way tougher field.
Who goes with him, though, Andy?
Well, maybe nobody goes with him, but he is a classic last time was the time horse, a horse who was able to take advantage of circumstance. He was a good price last time. He's a much shorter price in a tougher spot today. So from a gambling standpoint, I don't want him.
And we'll get more on his looks there from the rest of our crew, but it looks a little wet. Well, it's a little bit of a warm day. Meanwhile, the remaining half of the entry, let's get more with Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And talking about the one for Greater Glory, first off the claim for trainer David Jacobson. And you have to look back at his turf races a long time ago to try to get a good grasp of his most recent race. Now, going into the first turn last time out, I do think that he lost a lot of ground. He was about 4 or 5 wide going in the first turn. That's never ideal from an outermost post position. But coming down the stretch, it really looked like his gait, his energy, he was just all over the place. And maybe he just wasn't handling the surface that particular day, or maybe it's not his preferred surface. He is on his toes and he's staying with the pony. Maggie, what more could you tell us about For Greater Glory?
Gabby, that I really liked him, actually, and I understand what you're saying. I'm hoping it was just the distance, a Mountain 3 Sticks possibly being just a little bit too far for this guy. I think he looks better than what I've seen him here in New York, at least in his last start, going first out for David Jacobson. I like this guy, but I also really like Shalako, who was taking a lot of money, and boy, he warmed up beautifully out here on the racetrack beneath Jose Lascano, and he looks the picture, too. He's a deserving favorite on my end, and we'll see. He's on his toes, great energy level. But in regards to the early pace, we know Abiding Star, he occupies that inside post position. He's the likely speed in here because that's the only way he wins races. But I thought that King of New York in here might be a little bit of a thorn in his side, guys. He got a big warm-up, and the blinkers go on.
All right, thank you, Maggie. Yeah, King of New York right now, the 7-horse, 7-1 on the board as they load up here. I mean, Shalako, to you, look at his last few starts. He comes from well out of it.
Yeah, he needs pace. But, you know, Linda instills a little bit of pace into a lot of her horses. So I would think he'll sit a little bit better. And you get a good draw. Like, you need to get the mile run up here. You got plenty of time to get some cover here.
There he is, Shalako. First off the claim for Linda Rice, the favorite as they load in. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
They're all in line, ready for a start. They're off. Abiding Star on the inside, sent out of there with early speed. On the far outside, it's Shalako and Super Fast between those two. And now it's going to be Abiding Star to take over. Super Fast will be second. Shalako rein back running in third. Slim Shady is fourth early on and racing 5 lengths off the lead. Then back to For Greater Glory. King of New York is last in the early stages here as Abiding Star leads them along. Joe Bravo and Abiding Star 123.29 for the quarter, and they lead by 2. Super Fast is second by 4 lengths. Shalako tracks in third. Slim Shady is fourth, 7 off the lead. And then it's back to For Greater Glory. King of New York is 12 lengths behind the pace setter, Abiding Star, who continues to lead super fast by just under 2 lengths and has run a 46.3 half-mile racing for the far turn. Shalako is still third. Slim Shady is still fourth. For Greater Glory, 9 lengths from the front right now. King of New York at the back of the pack. Not much change so far. It's been Abiding Star. It's been super fast. And they're 1-2 as they arrive at the top of the stretch. 4 lengths back to Shalako and Slim Shady. 3/4 in 109.48. They're into the stretch. Abiding Star to the 8th pole, still holding off super fast. Slim Shady is closing on the far outside. And then it's Shalako. It is still Abiding Star. Slim Shady on the outside. Abiding Star, Slim Shady coming down to the wire together. Abiding Star stood up to Slim Shady. Then it was super fast, followed by a photo between For Greater Glory and Shalako in 132.48.
Abiding Star got to the front, just keeps on going. Slim Shady put in a bid, but needed a mile and a 16th instead of a mile.
Turf course is so rock hard. I mean, they went consecutive 23 quarters, 23 and 1, 23 flat, 23 flat, 23 flat. How do you close on that?
No, you couldn't. And Slim Shady at one point when he went right-handed, he looked like he was going to go on by, but Joe Bravo, he won a race earlier today on a $100 horse, same way, sort of on the front end, and the 2 gets lost here. He's getting tired. You can see him swap to his wrong lead, but the wire gets there in time, and you're right. The mile just a little too short for Slim Shady.
I would love to see how far past the wire until Slim Shady did get in front. But you got to credit Abiding Star here, able to hang on and get the job done. 132 and 2 final time for the mile.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had rain basically since we got back from Saratoga, and obviously the turf has gotten very firm, but it's not as though he was walking, firm turf or not. He wasn't walking on front, but it's rare to see a horse basically go consecutive 23 quarters, even on the turf, Paul.
Yeah, you know, we talk about this a lot when these horses drop for 25. They dropped this horse for 25 non-winners at 2 in a year, Greg, 2 starts ago. Confidence builder, comes back, goes to the turf course, wins there. How about this horse has won long on the dirt, sprinting on the turf, and then a little bit longer on the turf going a mile. So 3 different areas, 3 different wins.
And Shalako. Shalako was dreadful in there.
Yeah,
perfect
that's not a
trip
good
sitting
trip.
in third and just backed up through the field. No run whatsoever. Tough to close on this course, but when it's gotten this firm, but still, no excuse for Slim Shady.
Wins by a nose. 3 in a row for Abiding Star. And this horse now 3 for 5 on this turf course at Belmont Park. 2, 3, 6, 1. And Maggie has caught up to the winning rider.
And guys, it came down to 2 horses seeking their 3rd wins in a row, but it would be Joe Bravo and Abiding Star here. Joe, this horse is just probably one of the gamest horses I've ever seen on the front end.
Oh, you love these old warriors that just go out there and knows where the finish line's at. He's got a lot of equipment on him. You'll scare him, but thank God I just didn't want to mess up a percentage today. I rode him twice before, win both times. We got a little lucky today, didn't we, Maggie?
You did, and you didn't have it that easy. I mean, you clicked off about 23 flat quarters the whole way around there. Did you feel as though you're going that fast? You had another horse breathing down your throat today.
Yeah, I didn't want him to get you up on top of him. I think he might panic and kind of got a little bit too racy, just to keep a little distance between others. Bottom line is, Ned Allard and the whole team did a great job at bringing over the best horse today. I want to say thanks.
And Joe, got your 2nd win on the card. Congratulations here.
Here we go again.
Yippee. All right, guys, back to you.
Maggie, thanks. 2nd win for Joe Bravo today. Also won on Ferry Length back in race 4 that kicked off the pick 6 and probably guaranteed we have another pick 6 carryover. That horse, $106 return back in the opening leg of the sequence. Of course, our show presented by Claiborne Farm. We're going to take a quick break in the action. We'll be back with more coming up. They get none of the glory, but they're crucial to the success of any racehorse. We'll have the story of the person who helps keeps horses' feet feeling good. The story of the Farrier when we come back.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Abiding Star, gate to wire. That's his MO, and he does it for the 3rd consecutive time out on the racetrack. He's now 3 for 5 on this Belmont turf course.
Yeah, congratulations to the son of Uncle Mo, the Dyna-forming mare, Abiding, Stonehenge LLC, and Ned Allard and jockey Jersey Joe Bravo. One spectrum to the other, $108 winner to a $7.60 winner.
Winning trainer, Ned Allard. He's standing by with Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. Well, Ned, what can you tell us about coming down the stretch right before this horse won? Were you sweating it out a little bit? Because that was a tight finish.
I felt good through the lane, but I've got to be truthful. The last 16th of a mile, I was sweating it out. But Joe said he spotted that horse, and he didn't think he was going to let him by.
Well, I was going to say, how game was he, though, coming down the stretch today?
I thought he was really game. He was a very nice 3-year-old, and then his form got a little spotty, and he's come back pretty good this year, and I'm just tickled pink with him.
And he's a horse that has a lot of equipment. Joe Bravo alluded to it in the post-race with Maggie just now. Talk a little bit about the bit and the extension blinker that he wears, and if that has helped him, you think, in his most recent starts.
Well, I think it has, but I mentioned to Maggie the last time, I think even a hackamore on this horse on a day that he's happy would suffice. But you need a little backup plan if he's not real happy. And he does have a tendency to want to get out if he's not happy. In his last 3 races, he's been happy.
Well, it's funny what a difference a year makes. This horse was running in the Preakness last year in 2016, and now getting a turf victory at Belmont going the mile.
I know it. That's horse racing for you.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations here, Ned.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, happy horses. Greg, well, they tend to find the winner's circle.
I'd say Abiding Star is very happy right now. 3 in a row, winning at Delaware, Belmont, and then Belmont again. And that Delaware win was on the dirt. Can do it on any kind of surface. This is a look at a horse's happy feet. If I said anvil, guys, clinchers, hoof nippers, and a rasp, do you know what those all describe?
A roller hockey league?
All tools of the trade for a farrier. We're going to meet right now in another edition of I Am.
I am Tim Shortell. I'm a farrier. Our main job is to maintain I would say the balance in a horse's hoof And then we do that ×4 to try to make them as comfortable as we can with the proper toe lengths and heel lengths to make their stride as efficient as it can be for a given animal. We want them to cover as much ground in a given stride, and we try to maximize that by the proper trimming of the feet. And then that's supplemented by sometimes the certain kinds of shoes that they wear. On the turf, as the racing rules go, there's only one shoe that's allowed, and this is called an XT. It just has a very, very small toe grab and no traction devices at all. This is a front and hind. These 4 shoes are all the same. The trainer will say, well, he's scheduled to run on the dirt. So again, we've got the same aluminum shoe, but now we're allowed to use, this is called a toe grab, and it's about twice the size of the one that I just showed you for the turf. A number of years ago, the rules of racing changed for the better, I believe, when they eliminated any more than a low-toe shoe on the dirt. And the reason for that is they believe that they've been able to increase the quality of the soundness of the horses by eliminating all that traction on the front. The 2 most popular styles in hind shoes right now would just be just a plain toe grab here. This one happens to be a quarter horse. You can see that's significantly higher than those I previously showed you. And then very often you'll either hear or you'll see on the tote board that 1, 3, 5, and 8 are wearing bend shoes, B-E-N-D. And what we do is, that shoe doesn't come from the factory. What we do on the stall jack, take the shoe, we fit it first, and then we just fit it in here and give it a couple of licks and bend it down like that. Again, it's another form of traction. Very popular shoe. Because every horse is different, it takes a long time, a lot of practice to develop the good nailing skills. I would say that's probably the biggest challenge. All 4 feet on a given animal could be different. You have to make a judgment call on each and every one when we're all finished. Feet that match, heel lengths, toe lengths, and front and hind. Balance is really the word that we use most often. That's very good. We want to maximize the efficiency of each stride the animal makes in a comfortable way.
Well, it's a crucial role. The Farrier and Tim Shortell have been doing tremendous work here on the New York Racing Association circuit for a long, long time. We're going to take a break. We're 18 minutes to post in race 8. Still to come, Alabama winner Elate. Ready for the next step. Time to face older horses. Is she up to the task? We'll preview the Beldame when we come back.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes place for former Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Hey, I'm Jersey Joe Bravo, and you're watching Belmont Park Live.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Great to have you with us. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. How in the world did our producer, Eric Donovan, know that Joe Bravo was going to have the day he's had so far today?
He's a seer.
Should have paid more attention to the rundown. I would have been having a good day at the windows. We got race 8 coming up, approaching the 14-minute mark to post. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Paul LaDuca, Maggie Wolfendale, Gabby Gaudette with you. Want to remind you to play along from home or wherever you may be with NYRA Bets. Bet 100, you'll get 100 in your account. New member bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. You can play all across the country with NYRA Bets by going to nyrabets.com. Race 8 coming up. You went all in a pick 4 that you put up on the air using everybody. I thought it was a wide open race. What were your thoughts on this 8th, Andy?
Listen, I kind of chalked it out. I haven't been particularly clever today. I thought the 3 is a bit of an underlay, but I like the 7 here, Sandy Slew off the claim. Jimmy Riccio, the owner, claimed a very sharp claiming owner, goes to Jeremiah Engelhardt, had a big win off the claim earlier today. And the 9 Banana Thief, I want horses not coming out of the race on September 1st that so many, Paul, are coming out of.
Yeah, when you look at the 9 Banana Thief, you know, that's another horse that is coming out of a race where the horse sort of ran off a little bit early. And I'm wondering if he wants to actually be a horse that wants to come from behind, doesn't want to be more forwardly placed. Maybe he'll sit back today. But a lot of money coming in for 2 long shots in here, Andy. The 4 and the 10 excluded. And Man of Fire, you can see excluded. So can I. I can't see a Man of Fire.
Yeah, it's interesting because Man of Fire, the 4 horse, is the 3rd longest shot in the board. And he seems to be getting better early. Let's see if he keeps taking money.
Meanwhile, Sandy's Slew, see if Bravo has another one in him. It would be his 3rd today. It's Jeremiah Engelhardt off the claim. A lot of seconds here on the turf at Belmont for him.
He does have a bit of a hang in him. But his last race was actually very good. The horses that dueled with him in the pace last time, one dueled, one sat 3rd. They finished 8th and 9th. And one of them came back to win a subsequent start, improving its buyer in a turf sprint, 12 points.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about this, Gelding, his best race is here at Belmont. He won by a nose. He's got one win here at Belmont, and it was September 23rd in 2016, and it was a good race from a tiny bit off the pace. I like where he spots him here. He's in very good form. At least he comes off a good race where he showed a little bit of pace. The time before that, he'd been having some gait issues, so I think the layoff, he'll be sharp today.
Meanwhile, there's Banana Thief, the 9 horse, in the stall there for Steve Asmussen. And the last time he was in against this level, he was a winner. And that was the end of his 4-year-old campaign.
Yeah, this is just a reasonable drop for this horse that we're talking about, Banana Thief. He's just getting into, I think, the right group. He's in too tough. And if he runs his race 2 back when he ran against much better horses, Paul, he's going to be very tough.
Yeah, he's going to be tough. And again, his last race, he went to the front end. He's a better horse at Belmont, first of all. He's got, 8 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So he likes this race course, number 1. Number 2, he can place himself pretty forwardly, but he does not want to be in front. He got caught in a duel last time. He wants to be off horses. And if you look at his race 2 back, it was a good race. But like I said, his races at Belmont are a lot better. He's a major player in here.
His rider, Nick Juarez, he's already won a race this afternoon as well. Meanwhile, the funny thing for Charlie Baker, John Velasquez aboard, and he should be forwardly placed. He's only been on the turf once in his career. It was last start, and he ran very good.
No, I agree. He did run well in there, and he may be the pace setter with Sandy Slew sitting outside of him. I just feel like the 7 or 9 are better horses, and if one of them shows up with his better race, they're going to beat the horses coming out of that race. But if not, his last race was fine. And don't forget, it was his first start on the turf. In a lot of ways, one of the better races he's ever run.
It was a good race. I'm with you. I thought he ran very, very well in this race. You could see he starts to kick on. A lot of horses, when they're first time on turf, sort of don't kick on a little bit. He's chasing nicely here. Not much separation between the other 3, and it was a bunch of the field. So how you read the field, Wolfie, I think is the key.
Oh, let's get more on this group with our paddock report brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Here's Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll start with the 9, Banana Thief here. And this horse just truly looks like a sprinter. He's kind of low to the ground. He's built like a sprinter, rounded out behind the saddle as well. So obviously he's going to be competitive in this race. And you guys were both talking about the last 2 races that he comes out of. I thought he was with the flow of the race 2 starts back, where we saw Dream Mover kind of close from off of it. So he did get an ideal setup. Not the case last time out. Paul had mentioned that maybe this is a horse that does a little bit better with a target, and I'd have to agree with him that maybe he'll be just sitting off the pace and then kind of going from there. And moving into the 7, Sandy Slew, first off the claim for Jeremiah Englehart. I think this horse looks really good today, to be honest. Last time out, it kind of looked like the race that he was coming out of. The pace might have fallen apart a little bit, but he's a horse that, guys, going back to his last victory, you have to go all the way back to September, and that was subsequently followed by a 6-month layoff, and maybe he's just a horse that's fallen out of form, but I do think it's a good sign that he at least got back to showing the speed that he used to show last time out for his previous connections. But of course, again, first off the claim for Jeremiah Englehart today. Now the one, what's to talk about, I like this horse. He's stretching out a bit from 5.5 to 6. I think he needs maybe even more distance. To me, he looks like maybe a 1-turn 7/8 or 1-turn mile type of sprinter. So we'll see if this is too short for him, but I definitely like him here. He's posted well to the inside. He's just a little cold on the board, guys.
Well, 7-1 on what's to talk about. Jason Service, Barney did put together back-to-back wins, and one of those was at 6 furlongs on the turf at Belmont, June 22nd.
He's cold on the board, I think, Andy, because he has gait issues. That's his problem. If you look, he breaks slowly most of the time, and when you're in the 1 hole, you're behind the 8 ball.
Well, you know what price you're supposed to be after his abominable performance last time.
Well, he got left
Tough
last
spot.
time, yeah.
You know, I didn't think he really got in much trouble last time. I just think he didn't really run. The problem I have with the 1 is he needs to time his move so perfectly. He needs a lot of things to go right to win.
He needs a ton of things to go right. You look at his 3rd and 4th back, he broke almost dead last and circled the field. He needs a ton of pace up front.
Meanwhile, excluded 20-1 morning line, down to 9-1 right now, but a 3-time winner on this turf course.
Well, I mean, he's not a miler, so you can throw his last race out. He's not a 2-turn miler. He's getting back to what he does best, and if you look at his sprint races, he's capable of running fast enough to be a contender. I wouldn't be shocked if he was effective here.
No, I thought, you know, if you look at his Belmont race 4 back, he made a middle move into polar axis. Uncle Si, who's turned out to be a nice little runner on the turf. But his other Belmont win in 108 and change way back in September of last year plays here.
I feel as though if the 7 or 9, the droppers don't get it done, it's wide open.
It really is. You know, the 6 in here in 13-1, I thought ran a winning race last time out. Dr. Shane, when we showed you that replay, he was involved. And again, when Gabby was talking about the 1, if the 1 can get out of the gate, the 1's going to be dangerous.
We'll see some issue. I mean, Banana Thief has had some problems. A lot of them that he's caused on his own.
Yes. So has the 1. If you look at the 1, broke slow, traffic inside. That's a result of breaking slow.
Time for our post-parade. Here is what's to talk about, trained by Jason Service. Irad Ortiz Jr. looking for his 3rd today.
He's a horse that needs to time his short burst very, very well. To me, he's unlikely.
The funny thing taking play, 3-1 right now for Charlie Baker. John Velasquez.
Well, he's a horse that's going to be forwardly placed for a good trainer who has 1 turf race, and it was a solid effort.
Man of Fire continues to take money. He's at 7-1 right now. Joel Rosario for Jorge Abreu.
Yeah, it is taking a lot of money. This horse you'll probably see late. The lone win or one of the 2 wins here at Belmont.
5-horse Dr. Shane. Manny Franco aboard.
Another horse who has the speed to be forwardly placed, but he hasn't been showing it recently. He's a fringe player at best at a price.
Crocheron Kid, Eric Consell rides for trainer David Donk.
He's an interesting horse. He ran well last time at 63-1, and he likes Belmont better than he likes Saratoga, so could be an upsetter here at 13-1.
Sandy Slew, Joe Bravo looking for a 3rd today. Jeremiah Englehart first off the claim.
A little bit chilly on the board, ran very well in a pace that fell apart last time out, claimed by Sharp Connections.
Banana Thief, 5-2 current favorite. Nick Juarez for Steve Asmussen.
Drops down off of a less than terrific performance on the pace. His race 2 back makes him very tough.
And John Toscano Jr. and Jose Lezcano team up with Excluded on the outside.
Yeah, 20-1 on the morning line, getting bet down to 9-1. All 3 career wins over the Belmont turf.
And that's your field. We're going to take a break in the action. We will have race 8 when we return. Is the 8th going to be Bananas? Bananas, the Thief. Looking to get back in the winner's circle when we return.
Eclipse Award winner Blaine retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks, Blaine at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Race 8 coming up in just a couple of moments. What a run it's been for West Coast. For trainer Bob Baffert, just keeps reeling off victory after victory. Wins the Travers, follows that Grade 1 up with yet another Grade 1 win in the Pennsylvania Derby. Congratulations to West Coast and his connections, and to his sire, Flatter, of course, standing at Claiborne Farm. It's also produced Paola Queen, won at 55-1 in the test last year. Taurus, graded stakes winners this year include Flatline, Favorable Outcome. There's the son of AP Indy on the farm in Paris, Kentucky. Part of that outstanding lineup. Stallions now standing at Claiborne Farm. 2 minutes to post here in the 8th coming up, and with more on DeFunny Thing, who now is our favorite at 5-2. Wow. Let's go to Gabby.
I think that's craziness, Greg, that this horse is the current favorite right now. And we have so many horses that are coming out of that September 1st race. And I guess you have to question, who do you want out of that race? I just don't know if you can put all your eggs in one basket on this horse. It was his first turf try. And going back and watching that race, I did think that the pace held together relatively well. And I'm not sure if he did that much running. He did break well, and he was kind of in the midst of the pack, but we didn't really see him close. either. So, but the fact of the matter is there's not a tremendous amount of pace in here, so maybe he could be the pace setter, or perhaps we could see the 9 Banana Thief maybe be more forwardly placed in here, because at least in the paddock and coming out to the trackside, he's been on his toes. A lot of high energy for this horse, but with more on the 1, what's to talk about? We'll check in with Maggie.
And I want to talk about what's to talk about, because he's a horse that struggles to get away from the gate. And a lot of times when you see horses that might have a propensity to break slow, it's usually because maybe they're just a bit head shy, because they don't stand correctly. Well, this guy is outfitted today here with a neck strap. It's just a piece of leather that just strapped around his neck like a belt. And that's to really aid the rider so that he stays out of his mouth. So Irider Tees, when he breaks, will hold on primarily to mane / that neck strap in hopes that, well, what's the talk about will break cleanly. He also got a nice warm up. His biggest problem is that he has the rail post. He'll be the first one in and will have to wait quite a bit. Then we'll jump towards the outside with number 9 Banana Thief. You know, I talked to Toby Sheets, the assistant to Steve Asmussen, but he said, look, I don't really know what happened up there, Mag, because I wasn't there, but he just feels as though he's a horse that if you gig him, if you kind of send him, he's gonna take off with you. If you stay quiet, he'll stay quiet for you. So we'll see if that's what Nick Juarez does tend to do. From what I've seen, Nick Juarez is a more kind of relaxed, laid-back rider than Ricardo Santana. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. We saw Banana Thief a lot closer to the pace last time out, but he was rank in that race. So
Yeah, he was.
maybe they will try and settle today.
They're going to have to settle. It's just the way he is. He's better. And, when you get to the 7 Sandy Sloughs,
he's dead on the board.
Dead on the board.
is screaming. He has. I don't like the 1 in this race. I don't know who those picks are. I like the 7 actually in this race. My selection's not the 1. I like Sandy Slough.
The one's going to win.
But the way my picks are doing, they probably won't win. But 5-1, they're telling you with Sandy Slough, no shot.
Yeah, I'm with Andy. That the board is telling you. I'll tell you right now, the 9 is getting bad. I keep going with this. I still think the 1's the most talented, but he's got to get out of the gate.
All right, there is the 7 Sandy Slough. Yeah, it is a big number. He was 3-1.
And second choice in doubles.
Yeah.
Sources bet like they just know it can't run, and the money is too smart for me.
Let's send it upstairs for the call. Race 8. The voice of the Triple Crown. Take it away, Larry Colmus.
And Excluded is moving in. He's taking the outside stall. They're all in line and ready for start. They're off. And it's the Funny Thing who comes out sharply. Dr. Shane goes right with him. The 2 of them off for the lead together. Sandy Slough came away running in 3rd. The Crocheron Kid is 4th. Wants to talk about his 5th. The Banana Thief Excluded on the outside, and Man of Fire. Up the backstretch they go. The Funny Thing and John Velasquez lead the way early here, getting away by a full length here over Dr. Shane as they run by the quarter in 22.64 seconds. Excluded is rushing up on the outside, up into 3rd now, and then it's Sandy Slough 4th in between horses. Wants to talk about is next. The Crocheron Kid steadied onto the backstretch, and they're being followed by Banana Thief, Man of Fire at the back of the pack. The Funny Thing and Dr. Shane coming to the top of the stretch. Excluded a length and a half behind them. Sandy Slough cuts the corner in 4th. What's to talk about in Banana Thief on the outside. Then the Crocheron Kid. 45.04. The half mile as they come to the final furlong. It is the Funny Thing. Dr. Shane wants to talk about Banana Thief on the far outside coming, but it's the Funny Thing in front close to home. Wants to talk about Banana Thief on the outside. Dr. Shane, the Funny Thing. The Funny Thing won it. Dr. Shane battled on, held 2nd. Then a photo between Wants to Talk About and Banana Thief in 108.12.
Well, the theme of the day, the board has been everybody's friend today. They were telling you that the Funny Thing was going to run today. He winds up going off as the favorite, and he ran like he was ready to run.
Well, to be honest, as firm as these courses have gotten, 26 and 2 and 3 for the first quarter. I mean, that's like 24 on a dirt track. They just handed him the race. Nice performance. He's improved from the turf. Sandy Slough, Joe Bravo, good ride last race. This was not a good ride by Joe on the 7.
Well, the 3 went easy. He wins by about a length in here, and the 5 just sort of runs around the racetrack with him. Dr. Shane, and you're thinking, okay, this horse is going to go by. Just no passing zone right now, 108 flat.
The first quarter, once they went 22-3, nobody had any chances. Joe Bravo was sitting in a perfect spot, stalking with the 8. He went and tucked inside, then had no room to get through. The idea is to be in the clear. I don't think St. Louis was winning, but he didn't get a winning ride.
You know, they might look a tiny bit at second. You know, the 1 and the 9 were going for third, and the 1 had his progress stopped just a tiny bit because the 5 might have been coming out, and the 3 might have been coming out late there. But you see Johnny V telling the exercise rider, I just went around this way to the winner's circle.
And even the 5, Dr. Shane, who's a long shot in here, he almost held second, or maybe even did hold second because the pace was so tepid.
Yeah, at 13-1. By the way, it is a photo for place, so we'll bring you the results as soon as they become official here. But John Velasquez on the board for Charlie Baker, and it looks like Turf is this 4-year-old's future here. There it is, 3.519.
Well, speeds run 1-2, and they go slow up front.
That's really cool. You know, here's the thing, a 7-time winner, and there you see Charlton Baker. He does a great job with this horse. He's 0 for 8, but he had a monster Saratoga meet, gets off to Schneid here. And this horse, like you said, you know, now second start on the turf is only 4. He's got a nice little future.
Charlie Baker has no chink in his armor. He is just a good trainer.
Yeah, he is very good.
You think what a good job he's done with that turf horse, the speed horse in the stake over the weekend, whose name is eluding me right now. What a good job he's done here. Can do anything with the right horse.
Well, catching up with Hall of Famer John Velasquez. Let's go to Maggie.
It's always nice to catch up with Johnny V here. He's heading to the winner's circle. But, Johnny, this is a horse who showed some affinity up at Saratoga for the turf. And today you had no holds barred. You said, I'm going to the lead. And he got away with some mild fractions.
Yeah, well, you know, Saratoga, first time on the grass, and he was kind of a little hesitant the first part of the race. And he still ran a really good race. Today, I'm post in the inside. I'm going to come out running there and to see where I am. When they let me go the first 16th of a mile, I was happy the way he was doing it, and they kind of caught up to him and going to the half-mile pole. And I sat against him, and when I asked him down the lane, he just gives you everything he can. He tries every step of the way.
And he was very game. He held off all challenges, and certainly a horse that, when you came back last time, did you tell Charlie that, yes, I do think he likes the turf?
No, it's funny because I thought he ran really well. It's just at the beginning of the race, just when he came out of the gate, he was a little hesitant, you know, like he didn't know what to do. But then down the lane, he put a really good fight, and we just got beat maybe 2 heads, you know, next. So it wasn't so bad, and not today. He was more confident.
Well, that's good, and I'm sure you had confidence in him as well. Johnny, congratulations here with the funny thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Greg, no funny business down here, though. It's straight to the winner's circle for these guys.
Yes, it is. Everybody at home, look at those silks of John Velasquez. Do not look at the form. What is the name of the ownership group?
Happy Face.
I was asking everybody at home. Of course you know, Paul.
Paul spoils up party. I was not paying any attention to anything you said, would not have ruined it, but Paul.
By the way, Andy, that's my pillow, that happy face, okay?
I have peanuts.
Charlie Baker gets another win. We're going to take a break in the action. Still ahead. He's stepping up to test his speed against older horses. Can Oscar Performance deliver an award-winning performance in the Joe Hirsch?
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code LIVE to get a $100 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus, and the horse who winds up going off favorite, Funny Thing, just his second time on the turf, and it's a winning effort.
Sometimes when you look back at horses, you sort of look, okay, what did I miss because I didn't like the 3? How about this horse? Now 14 for 16 with 8 wins in the money. Congratulations, Charlton Baker. The Funny Bone at the known fact mare. Do your thing.
Happy Face Racing Stable into the winner's circle. Let's go to Gabby standing by with Charlie Baker.
And one man with a happy face is who you were alluding to, Charlie Baker here for Happy Face Racing. And Charlie, the funny thing, had 14 lifetime starts prior to his last one, going onto the turf last time out. What prompted you to make that surface switch?
Well, the owner suggested try him on the grass because he was stable at Finger Lakes. You don't have a grass course there, so he wanted to try him on the grass at least once. So we actually told him we'll try to get through the air and then we'll try him. And he ran pretty good, so we decided we'd stick to the grass for at least one more start.
And what was the strategy going into today? Obviously, it's a very quick horse on the dirt, but with some of the scratches, did you think you'd be the main speed?
Yeah, I thought he'd be the speed. Looking at the race on the paper, it looked like he was an inside speed, at least, the inside speed. So we figured Johnny, he's good out there, out of the gate. And once he got him to the lead, I thought he would be okay from there.
Well, we've got the winter coming up. He's clearly accomplished on the turf and the dirt. Gives you a couple options moving forward.
Definitely. I think he's tactically equal on both surfaces. I don't say he's better on the grass than the dirt. I think he runs this both places just as good.
Well, it's good to be versatile. And congratulations here, Charlie.
Okay, thank you.
All right, back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. Always good to see Charlie Baker get into the winner's circle, and he's been doing it with regularity.
Giving some love to the owner. You got to love that. The owner goes, let's stick him on the turf. No turf course up at Finger Lakes. Yeah. Some horses get a second career. Charlie still thinks, obviously, he's good enough on dirt.
All you trainers out there, every once in a while, these owners do have good little input. It's a team effort.
Well, it's nice to hear Charlie listens to his owners, and his owner has input. And there's very few trainers I would have more confidence in than Charlie Baker.
New York Racing Association, of course, the leader in Spanish language content. Darwin Vizcaya, Luis Grandison. Have pre-race analysis on the NYRA Now app and of calls of every race. Here's a sword dancer in Sadler's Joy.
Va repitiendo y viene barriendo Money Multiple. Va barriendo por la parte de afuera rápidamente. El comando dominando Bigger Picho. Una cabeza en el comando Money Multiple. Sigue atacando por fuera Bigger Picho. Una cabeza Money Multiple. Y por fuera Sandy Joy. Va avanzando Sandy Joy. Paso de viaje.
Multiplier. Here's Money Multiplier down the center with Bigger Picture. It's now down to these two. And on the far outside.
Joe Hirsch coming up this weekend, Paul, and Sadler's Joy coming off that big effort at Saratoga.
Yeah, and it seems like Julian Leperoux's got the key to the engine, right? Both times he's been on him, or at least 2 of the last 3 times he's won with him. He won in the Pan American. He's a type of horse where his run needs to be timed perfect. You very rarely see Julian get pumped up, but that was a big win in the Sword Dancer. And a son of Kitten's Joy, he seems like he's gotten a little bit better. And like I said, he needs to be timed perfectly. And I think Julian has got the right timing, and he's in good form right now.
Well, meanwhile, we're going to take a look at the field. Of course, one of the big stories is the 3-year-old stepping up to face this good group of horses. That, of course, is Oscar Performance, but a loaded group in here. But, Andy, what do you think about Oscar Performance for Brian Lynch?
Well, to be fair, I kind of like him at Pine Ridge. I did not like him at the Belmont Derby at all, and he got it done. Now he got a very cozy, easy trip in a small field in Secretariat. He's a very talented horse. He has won all of the big races in his division, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He won the Belmont Derby, and he won the Secretariat. And I like that Brian Lynch treats him like a good horse. He wants to take a shot to see if he's good enough to run at 1.5 miles in the Breeders' Cup. But from a handicapping standpoint, he's been able to get very cozy trips. He's shown he doesn't want to be behind horses, and if he's not in the lead, he wants to ride out in the clear. His kryptonite in here is Beach Patrol, who drew outside of him. It doesn't help him, because Beach Patrol has exactly what Oscar Performance has. He has speed, and he has stamina, and the reality is he's shown that he's a better horse. So Osprom's going to have to step up. He's going to have to deal with Beach Patrol towards the front end and then hold off the closers. If he gets this done, I don't care what he does in the Breeders' Cup. I think he is no worse than the second-best 3-year-old in the country behind West Coast.
Well, that's a bold statement.
If he wins this race, I'm saying.
Yeah, it will be a tough task. You
Very
make a
tough
great
task.
point. You make because you're forgetting about money multiplier on the inside in this race. Who's a great runner here
Sadler's
too.
Joy,
No, Sadler's Joy. You're right.
Sand, Europeans.
Here's the thing: did Beach Patrol conquer his second-itis? Did he finally conquer his second-itis? I guess maybe we'll find out.
Only won in the Arlington Million.
Yeah.
He's won his share. He's
Yeah.
had some tough trips. I think Beach Patrol is a really cool horse.
Is he the favorite?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. We'll see.
It's a loaded group. We'll see if Oscar Performance is up to the challenge. Meanwhile, in the Vosburg, we saw El Deal with a massive performance, Paulie, in the Vanderbilt late July, won by 8 lengths on that day.
Well, he's just got devastating speed. He really does. But the problem is he's running into a couple others in here that are devastating. Now, his resume, a little bit deeper than the other horses in here that have a ton of speed. Speaking of Takaful, who will be right on the outside of him. And the other speed horse for El Deal that he's going to have to deal with is Mr. Crow. Now, Mr. Crow's only run twice. We don't know what we're dealing with. But they're all going to have to – he's run 3 times, excuse me. They're all going to maybe have to chase El Deal. He's the speed of the speed, but Mr. Crow has been dynamite.
The benefit Mr. Crow has is he's shown an ability to rate, and he drew outside the other speeds, be they El Deal,
Yes.
Green Grotto, and Takaful. The problem is he's jumping up from a non-winners of 1 against seasoned horses that are grade 1 quality horses. I can never bet El Deal, and I understand he can win. He's got 2 straight wins that are dressed up by riding very strong rails. Doesn't mean he's not going to win this race. He might just be faster and better. I'm looking at Stall Walking Dude to upset the whole thing.
And we talk about Oscar Performance stepping up to face older horses. This is a whole different level of stepping up what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I love that they're taking a shot with Mr. Crow. Obviously, he's a horse who had some issues before.
Yeah.
Because it took him a while to get to the races, but he's been brilliant in his races. And I'm not knocking him. But Todd is saying, you know what? Let's strike while the iron is hot, and I respect that.
No, I understand what you're saying. El Deal being on the inside changes the whole dynamic of this field because what it ends up doing is it might turn into a speed duel, and that would play in the hands of Stall Walking Dude.
Alabama winner, Elate, of course, going to be back in action. The Beldame, we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on in the show. What a weekend it will be. Grade 1 Beldame, Joe Hurst Turf Classic, Vosburg, and the Grade 3 Pilgrim. And then on Sunday, more stakes action. You don't want to miss any of it. We hope you join us this weekend for a lot coming up. We're going to take a break in the action. We will be back. Beach Patrol, Arlington Million winner. Ooh, will it be a beach day on Saturday?
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Paul LaDuca with you here. Ron Happy, the champion sprinter, won at 6 different racetracks during his career. He scored on both all-weather and dirt, on fast, sloppy, muddy surfaces. It did not matter. All the while, racing 100% drug-free. Undefeated in sprint competition, set the stakes record in the King's Bishop, the track record at Keeneland, winning the 2015 Breeders' Cup Sprints. Now standing at Claiborne Farm. We have the nightcap coming up, approaching the 12-minute mark to post for race 9, mile and a 16th. New York-bred maiden special weights. And Mark Casse will try and get his first winner of the meet with Catch a Cab. Joel Rosario, the current favorite.
I get that he can win this race. I'm not wildly against him. It just seems to me like too many horses from this barn have this kind of look. Second off a long layoff, broke slowly last time, made a nice run at the end. But in reality, to me, other than breaking slowly, and he did legitimately break a couple lengths slow, as you'll see if we get the replay up, but all he did after that, Paul, was sit on the rail and just sort of suck up for fourth in there. Should he improve second off a long layoff? Absolutely. Do you hope he breaks again today? Yes. Do I want him at a short price? No.
Well, that's the thing about having him at a short price at 2-1, because he was off a year layoff in this race. So you got to give him a little bit of credit for that, because he starts now to, make up some ground, and he runs a decent fourth here. I thought it was okay. He's on sort of the rail. I think he's the horse to beat, because I think he will improve. But you look at some other horses in here, or at least the board early. You look at the horses like the 2 Heart in Hand, who's getting some money. The 6 Trophy Asset, a first-time starter for always dangerous Chad Brown. But I just think you can't deny this horse off this. You look at the ears at the end of this race, this horse wanted to do more. I think this horse is live as can be.
That barn, they had a couple of huge wins at the meet, but that was like the same sort of break that Salty had in the Coaching Club American Oaks. It's some bad breaks that meet.
Because a lot of horses getting left. That's not a good thing either. And he's got a break again today. He can win. I just don't want him.
Well, with more, let's send it down to the paddock for our paddock report, brought to you by Shadwell Farm, building speed for the future. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Greg. Thank you. This is a pretty good field here for the nightcap, and we'll start with the number 9, Catch a Cab to the outside. And this horse could definitely win. Obviously, it was a horse coming off a pretty lengthy layoff last time out. But one thing about, especially Mark Casse's horses coming off of layoffs, and even in their second starts off the layoffs, they're incredibly fit. They are well trained in the morning to kind of show up off of that layoff. So this horse looks fit. He can win. He looks like the distance should be suitable. But the question is, will he face other horses who could take that step forward, or a likely first-time starter in the 6 Trophy Asset for trainer Chad Brown? And this horse definitely has the pedigree in order to run as a half to My Karamia and have to Karamia Way. So there's definitely a lot of pedigree. They paid $135,000 for this horse at the Saratoga August sale. So he looks fit, looks ready to go. He is a first-time gelding, but he's behaving himself pretty well. Of course, we were talking to Sharita Rowe earlier in the day and saying that he was training down at Monmouth, but has a local work at Belmont. So things should be ready to go here. Now, another horse who's taking money is the 2 Heart in Hand for trainer Linda Rice. This horse is making his second start, and I got to tell you guys, he looks more sprinter than a router, and obviously he's getting out of distance from 5.5 to the mile and a 16th today. And I also don't really like the fact that he hasn't posted a work since before his last race. So of the favorites in here, of the horses that might be taking money, I think he might be the most vulnerable.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Post-parade here coming up momentarily. I want to remind everyone, get signed up, started, play along as you watch these races. Bet $100 in your NYRA Bets account. You get $100 right back in it using the promo code LIVE. Get signed up and started all across the country playing with NYRA Bets by going to NYRABets.com. Our post-parade here coming up for this finale. And we're going to kick things off in a moment here with Millie's Party Boy, who was 8-1 morning line down to 4-1 right now and recently gelded.
Now, keep in mind, the first and second choices were scratched in this race, so they'll all be lower. I think this horse is a huge player in this race, and if he didn't have such low-profile connections, he'd be a much shorter price.
Nick Juarez will be aboard, the son of Desert Party. And yeah, as he goes silently, appealing briefs to 3 and the 5. Top 2 choices on the board, both scratched earlier on. Heart in Hand is the 2, Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano, second time out.
This is a horse that got left at the gate last time and sort of ran an even race. Is getting bet today at the window, first time going long.
Big price here on Constant Night at 20-1. Eric Consell rides.
Yeah, 0 for 10, and with a couple placings, third placings. Got on the turf last time and was not bad, so they're going to try it again.
First-time starter sent out by Chad Brown, son of Macho Uno. Here's Trophy Asset.
Yeah, the gray here. I think it's a good sign that this horse was training at Monmouth, and then let's come up to Belmont and get familiar with the surroundings.
Prince Rainier is a 7, trained by Tom Albertrani, second time on the turf.
Found himself in a tough field, second time on the turf, would have to improve off his one turf race.
The 8, JJ's Dreaming, and here he is, son of Freud, for Mark Hennig, Junior Alvarado aboard.
I can understand why this horse is getting bet. Some issues last time, got pinched back and made a middle move, and then just got tired first start. Should be better second time out.
And on the outside, here's the favorite, Catch a Cab, Marcassi Joel Rosario.
Must break with the field, but second off a layoff, rates to improve, especially if he breaks.
7 minutes to post here in this nightcap. Andy, how are you going to play it?
I'm going to bet the 1 to win. Obviously, I'm afraid of the first-time starter from Chad Brown, the 6 horse. I have to My Caramia, but I like the 1 here and think this situation where your price is too big because of the connections. This horse ran visually impressively in his first race of his career, and last time out just met a tougher field, as evidenced by Hobo, won the race. He's come back with a second to win.
For David Donk, yeah. We're going to take a break. We'll have this race for you when we come back. There's your favorite, Catch a Cab, second off a year's layoff. Had a poor break last time out. Can he break clean today? We'll find out shortly.
Chadwell Farm, home to world-class stallions, offers 2 successful stake sires. Brilliant Miler, Daher, a consistent source of quality. Daher is the sire of black-type winners coast to coast. Grade 1 winner and millionaire, Albertus Maximus, winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and Don Handicap. He is now siring black-type horses across the U.S. and abroad. Chadwell Farm, building speed for the future.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and the nightcap coming up, approaching the 4-minute mark to post. And there is the first-time starter for trainer Chad Brown and Klarovich Stables with Javier Castellano, Trophy Asset.
This horse is a half to 2 horses we've seen in New York. One, Carry Me Away, a very solid New York bred, but not a turf horse. The other one, My Caramia, a very nice turf horse who ran here for Mitch Friedman. Obviously, they're going to the grass. This horse is bred to handle it, and let's face it, the connections are extremely tough.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is his ball game, right? It is Chad. And like I said in the post parade, you got to love the horse. Been prepared at Monmouth, but you know what? Let's get one work. I know not over the turf course, but the dirt course, just to get familiar with the surroundings.
No, I agree. And the fact that this horse was down at Monmouth during Saratoga meant that they clearly felt he wasn't ready to run at Saratoga, because not only does Chad Brown obviously want to win at Saratoga, but the connections who vied and finished second for the owner's title. So obviously he needed this extra time.
Yeah, he did. And he runs into a field where he does not have to be much in here. If you really look at it, you know, only a 7-pack.
Yeah, I think there's some okay horses in here, though.
He's favored right now, by the way. The first-time starter.
Power of Chad Brown.
Yes, it is. Heart in Hand, meanwhile, second time out for Linda Rice, debuted sprinting at Saratoga.
He really does have a pedigree, though, that says he should want to go longer. And Linda's very good with second-time starters. Not so great stretching them out necessarily. She's just 2 for 14, stretching out second start as a turf maiden. But this horse was very much against the track and the flow of the race. It was won wire-to-wire in his debut. Horses on the inside dominated that race, and he broke slowly and tried to circle wide.
Monster pedigree. Monster pedigree. Giants Cubs. We had a Seeking the Gold mare. The worry would be they gelded the horse before the horse even ran.
Well, it's a big family. I mean, Seeking the Ante, it's a family of Friends Lake, I believe.
With more on Heart in Hand, let's go to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. And I got the chance to speak to Linda Rice in the horse path on the way to the track here. And I asked her what she thought about the distance today at 1 1/16. It has the pedigree to suggest he'll be okay. But Linda did say that a couple weeks ago they entered him in for a turf race going 7/8. He came up that day a little sick. They had to scratch him. And unfortunately, she had to enter him in going 1 1/16. She said that she really wanted to get a good foundation underneath of him, stretching him out from 5.5 to the 7 furlongs, but sometimes it just doesn't happen all the time. So she did mention that. I thought that was very, very interesting as we go to the 8. JJ's Dreaming for trainer Mark Hennig. Now, this horse is definitely going to have to improve in his next start. He's facing a couple of other similar foes and other horses who have experience as well, and he didn't do a lot of running. I will say, though, watching that replay, he was bumped around a bit at the quarter pole and just kind of wrapped up from there. But he's a big, good-looking horse, and in the paddock, at least, it kind of looked like maybe he's on the green side. He hasn't figured it all out, but I would say that with experience, this horse might be getting better. What did you think of the 8 JJ's Dreaming, Maggie?
Well, Gabby, I actually think he's a little more awake this time. He was pretty quiet in the paddock up at Saratoga in his debut, but he was a horse that kind of struck me, caught my eye, and I totally agree with what everybody has said about his first start, and that he didn't really get the fairest of chances, I would say, down the lane. So we'll see with him, and like you said, he's a big, good-looking horse, and maybe he also needed a start because those bigger type horses, well, they can be a bit on the stuffier side, and with racing, they do become more fit. Now, fitness is certainly a question for number 2 in here, Heart in Hand. Now, I know Gabby spoke to Linda and about the illness, and the thing is, this horse has very spotty works. He hasn't worked since he ran. And going back before that, there was 20 days, there was 12 days, so on and so forth with the spacing of his works. I'm wondering that, given this horse's pedigree and the fact that they kind of adversely debuted him going 5.5, does he have an issue? Does he have a bit of a breathing problem? Could that be it? And out here on the track, Jose Lascano has not warmed him up at all. He's not gotten out of a trot. He moves beautifully at a trot, let me tell you. But, it's just a little suspicious. This horse is just suspicious to me. He can win, given the connections, though. And then finally, the first-time starter, that is number 6 in here for trainer Chad Brown, trophy asset. Look, he looks like a firster that can win. He got the stamp of approval for me, has a monster turf hoof to him, so he's certainly capable of stealing the show here in debut. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. But let's go back to what we've been talking about all day long, and that's value on the board. First time, I know it's Chad Brown. We know how great he is, but at 9-5, is this first-timer worth a play?
It's hard to know what value is with a first-time starter.
Yeah.
He wins in these kind of spots, so I wouldn't bet this horse. I'm not betting firsters. I'm not betting 9-5 shots, but I mean, I'm not going to be surprised when this horse just rolls and you go, big surprise, a well-bred Chad Brown first-time starter for a New York-bred maiden race.
I'll tell you one thing is you can have the 2. If the 2 wins, that's fine with me.
The 1 is a crazy price at 5-1.
The 2 at 4-1 is a crazy price. Horse should be about 8 or 9-1.
6-5 on Chad's horse is saying can't lose. I mean, the money's just pouring.
It's pouring in now, but I do think the 9's going to run.
And both Gabby and Maggie made arguments for the 8 at a price at 9-1. It was 20-1 on the morning line, as they're just about all loaded up. There's your favorite, the first timer for Chad Brown, the one to beat on the board. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Trophy asset still being a little bit difficult here behind the starting gate. First time starter almost in there now. And there he goes. He's in line at odds of 6-5 right now. Prince Rainer moving in. JJ's Dreaming the next one. And 1 left to load. Catch a Cab will be last to load. Catch a Cab and Joel Rosario move in. They're all in line. We are ready for the start. They're off. Trophy Asset had a very good beginning. Right out to the early lead from Heart in Hand, away running in second on the inside. Catch a Cab came out in third. And then it's JJ's Dreaming in fourth. Break of another 2 back to Prince Rainer. Then Millie's Party Boy on the inside and Constant Night. On to the backstretch they go. And Heart in Hand's going to take over under Jose Lezcano here. Trophy Asset will sit second up the backstretch, 2 lengths behind as they run by the opening quarter mile. And that first quarter's up in 23.67 seconds. JJ's Dreaming is third inside of Catch a Cab, 3.5 lengths off the lead. Then Prince Rainer, Constant Night, and Millie's Party Boy. Up the backstretch they go. Heart in Hand is the pacemaker. Continuing to lead the favorite Trophy Asset by 1.5 lengths. JJ's Dreaming third on the outside. Catch a Cab is running along in fourth. And then a break of another 2 to Prince Rainer in fifth through a 48.14 half mile. Constant Night and Millie's Party Boy at the back of the pack. Heart in Hand continues to lead the way by a full length on the far turn to Trophy Asset, who's creeping closer. Catch a Cab is sent along 3 wide by Joel Rosario. Now the 3 of them are across the track. JJ's Dreaming is 2 lengths off of them. And then it's Constant Night, followed by Millie's Party Boy on the outside and Prince Rainer down toward the inside. They're at the top of the stretch. Trophy Asset and Catch a Cab and fighting on his Heart in Hand. And JJ's Dreaming is trying to come on to down the center. Trophy Asset's got the lead close to home, trying to shake away now and is doing it. Trophy Asset by 2. Catch a Cab on the outside. JJ's Dreaming, and then it's Heart in Hand. It is Trophy Asset. The first-time starter won it by 2 over Catch a Cab. It was close for third between JJ's Dreaming and Heart in Hand in 141.31.
First time out, Trophy Assets goes off at 6-5 and gets the job done.
Money showed, had speed to put himself in position behind what was a very slow pace in here and able to finish up the deal.
Yeah, good job here by Javier Castellano. Catch a Cab, Trophy Asset broke very sharp, almost could have taken the lead, and he just laid off. And it was a little bit of a gamble. We've seen like 3 horses today go gate to wire on the turf course, but Chad's horses just have finish. And the 2's going to end up finishing 4th here as the 8's going to swallow up 3rd here late. But it goes A and B here, and your 2 favorites going to run 1-2.
It's tough to make up ground when they're going this slowly up front. The one's rider was more concerned with being last than being in contention, but he also didn't get up for 5th, so that's not a good sign either. But the best horse won the race.
Might have been the 8 for 3rd. We'll wait to see to make that official. JJ's Dreaming, though, did run decent here in his second start, but Trophy Asset runs well. It's the 2, actually, so 6, 9, 2, 8. Who gets that photo for 3rd in here. But Trophy Asset, impressive in the debut with Javier Castellano to close things out here on this Wednesday afternoon. Son of Macho Uno. And this was an easy win.
Yeah, it was. About 1.5 lengths, and there you see the bob back for the 2 who runs 3rd. But, yeah, no doubt about your winner. And she's getting used to being photogenic. She's been in the winner's circle. I think Chad might have his feet up at his place, and Cherie's just taking all the pictures.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably sleeping.
He works about 23 hours a day.
I know, right?
At least.
And then he dreams about work the other hour.
That's how close it was for 3rd. Just barely Heart in Hand edging out JJ's Dreaming. Let's go to Maggie for more.
With the very professional Trophy Asset first time out, Javi, I got to ask you, this horse just did every single thing right.
You're right, Maggie. That's exactly what he did in the race. Very straightforward horse. He broke well out of the gate. He put a good position in the race. Actually, he could have gone the lead, but I just concerned a little bit because it was a first-time start, but very straightforward horse. I really like the way he did it.
Now, I got to ask you, I know Cherie is the one representing Chad here today, but is Chad Brown usually a guy who gives you the directions to take back and kind of get a horse a little coverage so they can relax?
We have a good relationship between me and Chad. Always, give me a little break to decide what to do a little bit about the horses. Sometimes he give me a little suggestion about horses, how they develop horses in the morning. He give me a little tip. I put everything together. I hope he did a great performance.
Well, congratulations here. Very good-looking first-time starter here in the last, Abby.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. Trophy Asset, first time out. Impressive at 6-5 for trainer Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables, William Lawrence, and, of course, Javier Castellano. There's Cherie DeVoe. Winner's Circle nightcap coming up when we return right after this on Belmont Park Live.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, right out of the box, trophy asset into the winner's circle in the debut for trainer Chad Brown.
Yeah, I mean, you win first time out, a mile and a 16th. Yeah, he had everything go his own way, set the pace, but it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it is not. Returns $4.70 for the win, although bet like this horse was ready to do it first time out. Known by Klarovich Stables, William Lawrence standing by again with Cherie DeVoe. Let's go to Gabby.
Yeah, always good to have Cherie on the show here. But Cherie, talk a little bit about this first-time starter. Super impressive in his debut today. Just didn't do anything wrong. Very professional.
Yeah, very proud of his performance today. They had said down at Monmouth that he had been doing well, and he'd been doing well here, so we were expecting a good effort.
And you say he had spent a couple of months down at Monmouth training during the summer. And Chad has so many different divisions. Talk a little bit about that and what goes on from the Monmouth division to the Saratoga division to the Belmont division.
So we just have 3, so it's not as many as people may think. But we try to be one cohesive unit, one big team, try to share everything with each other, bounce ideas off of each other if anyone's having a problem, but really just try to communicate as best as we can within each division and try to get it so that we all are on the same page.
Excellent stuff, and it's definitely working. Chad had a fantastic Saratoga meet and transitioning that here to Belmont. But also, Cherie, you guys have a huge weekend on tap. Just talk a bit about the trio that's heading into the Turf Classic.
So we have Beach Patrol, who's came out of the Arlington Million in really good shape, continues to train well. We got Fanciful Angel, and he's settled in nicely in our program. And who's the third?
Money Multiplier.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Money Multiplier. He just shipped in from Saratoga. I'm sorry, I totally didn't remember. And they said he's been doing really well from his races this summer.
Excellent stuff. Well, you guys have a lot of shots on Saturday, and congratulations here on a good day.
Thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. Yeah, you know they're looking forward to the weekend. A lot of big chances. And Andy, you were way off. You told me 150,000 in the pick 6 carryover, just 114,962.
That's about as close as I've come to being right all day. What are you talking about?
Starts in race 4 tomorrow, 3:04 Eastern time, about an hour before we come on air. You got to get involved. Go to NTRAbets.com.
Absolutely. Be part of it. Of course, want to be part of the weekend racing coming up as well, loaded with graded stakes action. We had talked about the sprint. We talked about the turf marathon, the Joe Hirsch. And what about a late going to the Beldame?
Very sharp move by Belmont, taking on the older horses in here. She's going to be an overwhelming favorite in this race, and she should be on paper. She just seems to be improving, Paul, with every start.
Yeah, she really is improving. Jose Ortiz, after she lost to Abel Tasman, And then she crushed in the Alabama. After she lost to Abel Tasman, he really felt, wow, she's back to the horse that I rode the first time when I was on her, when she won by about 14 lengths first time out. And she might be blossoming, like Andy's saying, at the right time. And like I said, barring what goes on, Abel Tasman, I think, is going to get better. This filly is nice, and she is getting good at the right time. That right time is Breeders' Cup time. And like you said, this could be another confidence builder. She's going to be 1 to 5 in this spot, no?
She's not going to be 1 to 5, but she's going to be 3 to 5.
3 to 5, yeah.
She's got to show some consistency. I mean, she got very good at Saratoga. Can she bring her game to New York?
Too.
This is a horse that's debut was almost as impressive, really, as Royal Delta's debut, and a very similar situation winning a mile at Aqueduct. And then she had trouble putting it together, but boy, did she put it together in a big way in Saratoga, where arguably she should have won 2 grade ones.
Back-to-back races. I mean, the Coaching Club of American Oaks loss was really, that was a moral victory.
Right.
Race that
There are no moral victories at the track, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly, especially if you had money on her.
The thing about her, she's lightly raced compared to all the other fillies in the division, if you think about it, so she has a lot of upside.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch. You definitely want to catch it in all those stakes races this Saturday. Going to be on the show, right?
Yeah, exciting.
Not bad. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh, you won't be here.
I'm going to be watching from home.
No, you're not. Liar.
We're back tomorrow.
You'll be betting from home.
I'll be betting as well. Betting and watching. So I'll get some winners out of Andy Serling.
Don't get too optimistic.
Back same time tomorrow. We hope you join us. It was Homeland Security. Oh, Chad Brown winning another one for Klarovich Stables in William Lawrence. Rad Ortiz Jr. aboard that one, beating the other Chad Brown, Dovecote, who went off the favorite in the race. She got 6 to 1 on Homeland Security to start off the late pick 4. And then Charlie Baker's DeFunny Thing. Second time on the grass and into the winner's circle. All kinds of options with this 4-year-old son of DeFunny Bone. We will see you on Thursday at 4 Eastern. Take care. Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Chromecast, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.